Wobbly 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 wobbly. What's up, gang? It's your boy, Gummy TV, man. And yeah, you know what it is, man. We clapped last week. And we about to just keep it rolling, man. Into a new week. New clappings. And we got a lot lined up this week, man. Big college slate. I feel like we're really in the groove in our NFL picks, man. We're seeing the games right. And, some things aren't going to break your way. That's understandable. Vanderbilt game against Alabama, I feel like they're right there running it. Unfortunately, pretty much didn't get the win, but had the cover. And then in the last 17 seconds, Alabama runs up the score. So that one doesn't break our way, but that's what happens, man. On the flip, though, we're hitting out a good percentage, as you can see, and we are bringing our best back from the dead, man, after a horrendous start. And now we're really about to take off, man. So let's just get right into it. First game up, man. USF on the road versus North Texas. North Texas, 1.5-point home favorites, man. Going back and forth on this one. On paper, both these teams very similar. Slight edge going to North Texas. They've been a much better turnover team. Offensively protecting the ball, defensively creating turnovers, which has kind of been the downfall of USF. Even though they have a lot of talent, Byron Brown's really been playing well. Interceptions, fumbles, turnovers for them has kind of been their downfall. USF, though, they've had much harder strength of schedule and tougher opponents that they've played this year. Out of Florida, Miami, versus North Texas. North Texas's greatest opponent was Army, and they beat them by 7 points. Big game, big players, Friday night. Give me USF. I think they come out, show up as a live dog here in this one. 34-31 in a shootout. And we know how Byron Brown plays in the big-time games, man. So give me the boys. Next up, Ohio State, minus 14.5 versus Illinois. Big spread there. Obviously, that's probably because Illinois struggled with top-end opponents that they've placed, like Indiana. I think Ohio State, just overall, a lot of talent, overly talented, much better defense, probably one of the top 2 defenses in the nation, if not the best right now. I think that Illinois at home probably will put up, a good game or keep it competitive for the first half, but I think Ohio will just jump to a lead and then eventually end up spreading it and covering the spread here, 31-16. I think there's just too much talent. They're starting to get things rolling. Their quarterback's, starting to get in that point of the season. He's starting to feel the offense. The early game stuff is kind of getting worked through, so good coaching, good talent. Give me Ohio State to cover on the road. Next up, man, Alabama minus 2.5 versus Mizzou. I like this game, man. I know we've been fading Alabama, and we've been on the wrong side of that a few times. Last night, they barely escaped our clutches. But hey, man, not tonight, but this weekend, this Saturday night, Missouri, man, they are a better team on paper, both sides of the ball. Obviously, Alabama passing offense and Ty Simpson looking really good right now, starting to roll, but they've struggled against good run offenses. As of recently, like Vanderbilt, who's that other game? I can't even remember right now off the top of my head, guys. I'm going blank, but they've really struggled with the top tier run offenses, and that's exactly what Missouri has. They have the SEC leading rusher, Ahmed Hardy. He's an absolute beast, man. Coming off of a bye week with rest, I think this is everything that Missouri needs. It's all the ammo for them to pull off the upset here at home. At home, with the run advantage, with the better defense, with a bye week, man. Woo! Missouri moneyline is a home dog. One of my favorite dogs of the week, man. 27-24. I think they pull it out in a close one. Next up, Oklahoma. 1.5 point favorites versus Texas and the Red River rivalry game, man. Big game. On paper, Oklahoma is slightly better offense. Actually, I was surprised to see that they weren't a lot better offensively, like on their metrics versus Texas, who, like, to the eye test, it just seems like Texas's offense has really struggled. However, the biggest difference on paper was Oklahoma's defense. Number 1 defense, probably in the nation, definitely in a lot of metrics. Haven't seen anything that I would want to put my money on as far as what we've seen from Texas and Archie Manning. Now in this game, a big thing to keep and consider is Oklahoma likely to start their backup QB Michael Hawkins. It looks like Mateer is hurt, nursing an injury, so he'll sit this one out. It looks like as I'm filming this, he's questionable, doubtful. So Michael Hawkins will probably get the start here. I think that's why the lines dropped a lot, but I think no matter what, man, give me the better defense in these red rivalry games. That's with Oklahoma. Doesn't matter if it's Hawkins or Mateer. I think they'll be able to pull together enough to outscore Texas in a close one. 2017, man. Give me the Hoosiers. All right, gang. TCU, 1.5-point favorites on the road versus Kansas State. Kansas State, they've been looking better with Dylan Edwards and getting their running game coming along. Avery Johnson's been getting the ball moving. However, they had the 0-4 start. Yeah, they bounced back a little bit. I still don't trust them. I still think that Avery Johnson is just too inefficient, and this offense has too many question marks for me to want to put my money behind it. On the other side of the ball, TCU has been absolutely rolling. They're a much better team on paper, and they have the revenge incentive from last year with Kansas State. I think this team is a lot of what they promised from TCU. They've got a really good offense with Hoover. The defense is making plays when they need to and getting off the field. So, man, give me TCU in this one. I think they have what it takes, and I think they cover that spread pretty easily. I think this could very potentially be like a 10-point game. 33-24 is how I have this one played out for the Frogs, man. Next up, Iowa State. -2.5 versus Colorado. This is a rally at home game for Colorado. I think they have a lot of incentive to come out here, fired up, and play. There's a lot of stuff going on with Deion Sanders. I believe he's having a surgery, so I just figure the team's going to have a lot of things to rally around at home. On the other side here, Iowa State, they looked really good against Cincinnati. Didn't pull it off. However, their cornerbacks that are hurt, they didn't look like they were getting beat up too bad. I think that their backups can hold with this Colorado team, and I think it'll probably end up being a higher scoring game. But I think Iowa State can cover this one, and I think they'll do what it takes to win. They have the better defense. Give me Iowa State in this one, 33-24. Next up, Nebraska, 6.5-point road favorites versus Maryland. Man, the Terrapins. They've been a great team. Obviously, they just had that really tough loss last week where they gave up like a fourth quarter comeback to Washington. On the other side of the ball, Nebraska, they've looked really good under Matt Rule. Similar teams on paper, probably slightly leaning towards Nebraska. Maryland, they are at home with a bounce back spot after, like we talked about, blowing a lead in the fourth quarter. I think the biggest edge in this game goes to the Maryland pass rush versus a really weak Nebraska offensive line that's been giving up a high pressure rate to Dylan Raiola. I think Nebraska wins this game, but Maryland is going to keep it extremely close, if not win it outright. So give me the 6.5 points with the home team, Maryland. I think this game will play out something like 27-24, 24-20, something in the 20s, within 7. So give me Maryland, man. I think they cover. Good team, bounce back at home. Next up, Indiana on the road versus Oregon. Oregon, 7.5-point home favorites. Indiana is actually a slightly better team on paper when I'm looking at this game. Ducks, though, coming off of a bye, and they had the really big win against Penn State. Indiana really hasn't played anybody, so even though they might be a slightly better team on paper, they're only team they've ever played Illinois, and they absolutely stomped them. Oregon, obviously, just coming off of a big Penn State win at home. It's going to be a really good battle between these two quarterbacks, but I think Oregon has enough at home. Off of a bye is just enough for these guys to really come out here and get ready. Which Oregon's a proven team. They have done that. They have come out and played well in these big-time games and big positions time and time again. So give me Oregon -7.5, probably 34-24, high-scoring game. I think Oregon's defense can win it for them in the second half. Next up, man, Florida versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M, 7.5-point home favorites at Kyle Field. Man, this one. On paper, Texas obviously better offense. They do have similar defensive metrics in a lot of areas. Although, Florida lost some momentum coming off a big win versus Texas at home. Although an at-home win is very different, I think. Like, it's easy to upset a team at home in college versus on the road. So now that these guys had that big win at home, I just feel like it's an even bigger letdown spot for them to try and go and play a better team at Texas A&M in a tougher environment, obviously at Kyle Field. And I think this is a game we just see Florida turn right back into a pumpkin, man. They had some flashes and some spark. I don't think it amounts to much, man. At home, I think Texas, they're not that great. Give me Texas A&M, blow these guys out, 27-13, possibly more. Their offense is firing. Marcel Reed might light him up for 300, we'll see. Moving on, Michigan on the road versus USC. USC, 2.5-point home favorites. I was kind of surprised to see the line that way. Man, my heart is with USC. My head is with Michigan. Michigan, obviously, ground and pound style with Haynes is a extremely big edge for them over a really weak USC defense that's just shown a lot of vulnerability to the run, especially up against big physical teams. Obviously gave up 500 yards of offense to Illinois last week. Off of a bye week, though, I think that USC can correct those defensive issues. Their offense is still going to be explosive, a lot of firepower, and I think that they can push the ball down the field. I think they can outscore Michigan, man. And I don't know if that's just my bias and my heart, but give me the Trojans, man. 27-24. I'm going to pull this bad boy out at home in the Coliseum. Couple more games for college, man. Georgia on the road, 3.5-point favorites versus Auburn. Another big SEC rivalry game. Auburn all in spot, man. It's a bye week. It's a night game at home. It's a Cam Newton jersey retirement pregame. It's like everything leading up for an upset. Georgia is 8-0 straight up against Auburn in these games. It's a tough one, man. The line's obviously significantly dropped. I think because of all those things that we just mentioned, because a lot of the extra around the actual X's and O's and the players. Georgia did play Oklahoma and Texas A&M. Auburn played, not Georgia. Auburn played Oklahoma and Texas A&M good. They only lost by 7, which means, that means they can play these big, tough opponents very close. And I'd like to say they can keep within that 3.5-point spread, man. But I'm going to have to say, give me the fucking Auburn. Give it to me outright, man. I can't turn them down. Give me Auburn. We changing it up, y'all. We got to do what we got to do. Auburn at home, man. Dogs. I'm tripping, actually. I'm back and forth on this one, gang. Give me the 3.5 points with Auburn. I think it's a close game. I think they win it outright. If they don't win it outright, they're only losing by a field goal. The half point's going to save us in that game at home. With everything behind us, man. The country behind us. Let's go, Auburn Tigers. Don't let me down. They're going to go straight to the do not bet list. Next up, man. South Carolina on the road versus LSU. LSU laying a big number, 9.5. Pretty simple, man. I think LSU at home, get right spot for these guys. Coming off of a bye week and a loss to Ole Miss. I just don't think South Carolina, I was really hype on them earlier in the year, but I just don't think they've pulled it together. And I think the LSU at home, Death Valley, man, give me the Tigers. 30-16, LSU wins and covers in this one. Last game up on the college slate, gang. We're running through these, possibly too quick. Arizona State versus Utah. Utah laying 5.5 at home. We've said this about 1,000 times, and I might just have to say it one more time. Utah at home. Bounce back after a bye week. Coming off of a bye, they're going to correct the mistakes and get some things right that they had going on wrong. And, they just lost to Texas Tech. So at home after a bye week, man, bounce back spot against Arizona State. Also, I do think the matchup is good for Utah. They have a good run defense, big bodies, the big offensive line up front. I think they can push the ball on this ASU defense. So let's say it one more time. Y'all say it with me. At home after a bye, bounce back. Let's take the home team. Give me the Utes, man. -5.5. I think they win 27-17. Cover this one pretty easy. And that does it for the college slate, man. We ran through that pretty quick. We're about to jump into the NFL, but you know what that means, man. It's time for that water break. And you know what we doing? We were slapping last week, so we just kept it simple, man. We're not changing it up. We keeping it right where it needs to be, y'all. You see my boys. We pulled it off. We might pull it off again this week. We'll let y'all know. All right, man. Let's jump into it, man. What are we talking about? First game up, Thursday night. Eagles, 7.5-point home. Oh, my goodness. First game up, man. Eagles, 7.5-point road favorites. On the road versus the New York Giants. MetLife Stadium. Hey, man, on paper, the Giants are a better offensive team, but a worse defensive team. The Eagles, 31st in passing yards. Giants, 28th in points scored. Giants, 27th in yards given up. 393 total yards per game, which is horrendous. Almost giving up 400 yards per game is insane. The Eagles' defensive line versus the Giants' weak offensive front is one of the biggest matchups that I see being taken advantage from Philadelphia in this game. Outside of that, it's a bounce-back game for the Eagles after losing. Eagles this year are 2-0 ATS on the road, and they are what? They've only lost 2 games in their last 21 games or something like that, so give me the Eagles, man. I think they win. I think they cover. Bounce back spot in New York, man. 27-17. Next up, early Sunday morning, man, we got an international game. Broncos, 6.5-point favorites versus the Jets. Broncos, man. Best defense, one of the best defenses in the NFL, if they're not the best. Second in points allowed per game, and top 5 run defense. And I just think that's a really good matchup for the Jets. The Jets, obviously, one of the biggest rushing offenses. They really lean on that, especially with Justin Fields. I think this is a good matchup in favor of the Broncos. And I think that after how they played last week, I think this is a good spot for them to just continue to roll, build on some momentum, and take advantage of a weak Jets defense. So give me the Broncos overseas, 27-16, win and cover. Next up, man. Cardinals on the road versus the Colts. Colts home favorites, laying 7.5. I hate those numbers. I hate the half a point, but you know what? For the Colts, they're one of the biggest surprises this year. Offensively, they look great. They're balanced. They've got Jonathan Taylor. They've got a mix of wide receivers. They can get down the field and catch the ball. Daniel Jones, he looks great with the ball in his hands, and he's able to run. They're second in points scored. They're second in points scored, and their defense is also very highly rated as third in points allowed. So the Colts, obviously balanced team, running through teams. Arizona, they've been really inconsistent. They've shown flashes, and they've jumped on these big leads, and they've had great plays. The story with Arizona this year is just falling apart late in games, unable to close games, giving away wins. Last week, we saw them do it to the Titans, man. Broke our parlay. We don't want to be anywhere near that. Give me the Colts, man, at home to cover. Again, back-to-back home games. These guys are rolling on fire. 27-17. I think this is a blowout alert game. Cardinals, they got a lot to figure out over there. Next up, man, Rams, 7.5-point road favorites versus the Ravens. I think, obviously, this is a hot Rams offense ranked second in passing offense versus a Ravens defense that's probably the worst defense in the league in almost every metric and explosive plays. The Rams do have a kind of right there on the fence of a top 10 defense. So when you try to put Cooper Rush up against that, I can't get behind that. Now, you might think, okay, the Ravens bounce back at home. The Ravens have got to get right at home at some point, right? Well, I don't think so, and definitely not against one of the best offenses in the league. And Matt Stafford seems to be just absolutely rolling. Give me the Rams. 37-17. I don't know. Ravens might keep this one close, but this is a high blowout alert again. They just can't seem to get it together against any of these recent games or teams that they've played. I don't want to be anywhere near that stink pile, man. Give me the Rams. Next up, Browns versus the Steelers. Steelers laying 6.5. Wow. Both teams have bottom 4 offenses. Slight edge goes to the Steelers because they are better in points scored. But on the other side of the ball, the Browns have a much better defense. This line is just absurd to me. I think that the Browns, with Dylan Gabriel and Judkins and these rookies that have fan in, they've been playing really hard, and their defense, I think they can come out here in a divisional game and keep this one extremely close. So give me the Browns plus the 6.5. I think Steelers can probably close this one out, but I definitely need the 6.5 points in my back pocket with the Browns. I think that their defense will slow Pittsburgh down, and then if they do have the splashes on offense, they could win this game outright. I don't trust the offense enough to win it outright, but I think they can definitely keep it within 7. So give me the Browns, man, with the points. Next up, Seahawks on the road versus the Jaguars. Jaguars, after that big win, laying 1.5 points. Man, I told y'all about them Jaguars money line on Monday night, and I didn't have fun watching it. It was an absolute horror show. But we hit. Thank God Trevor Lawrence knew how to stand up and run into the end zone. Man, outside of that, it's been fun betting the Jags, but I think that's all and over now. They're facing a much higher-powered Seattle offense, ranked 5th in passing and 5th in points scored. One of the most explosive offenses that we've seen in the NFL this year. And these guys also have the 3rd best run defense, which is going to negate the Jaguars' run game, which we saw the Chiefs kind of do. And, you know, when you're able to stop Travis Etienne from really getting 6-8 yard carries and moving the ball down the field, you force Trevor Lawrence to have the ball. And we all saw what happens when Trevor Lawrence has the ball. That is not someone you want holding the ball too much. Handing it off? Sure. Throwing a dump off? Sure. Falling down, standing up and running in the end zone? Okay. But yeah, outside of that, man. Yeah, give me the Seahawks. I think they win this one 27-20. Pretty comfortable. I think this is a sell high spot for the Jags. They did what we needed them to do. And now it's time to let them go. Next up, man. Chargers. 3.5 point road favorites versus the Dolphins. Man, the Dolphins, I've tried to get there with the Dolphins on a couple different weeks. Miami ranks 28th in total yards offensively and 28th in total yards defensively. So they can't get offense. They can't get yards on offense. And they can't stop people on defense. This one's pretty simple, man. It's a bounce-back spot for the Chargers. They got to get right this week. On the road, it doesn't matter. I think it'll be a good weather game. I think their run game, with Vidal and Haskins, looks like Omari and Hampton will be sitting. Those two, it doesn't even matter. They pass the ball like 67% of the time or something. It's like the highest rate in the NFL. So Justin Herbert, I think, get right spot against one of the, worst defenses in the league. 27-20, give me the Chargers. Next up, man, Cowboys laying 3.5 points on the road versus the Panthers. Man, I really wanted to take the Panthers in this game. I thought, wow, Panthers 24th in points scored. They have a decent defense. They looked good, and Dallas's defense has just been really vulnerable, giving up a lot of explosive plays in the pass. And I think that, I hate to say this, I hate when I say this, but I think the Cowboys just have the higher end talent, and I think that it's a get right spot for these guys. They looked good against the Jets on the road, and I think they look good against the Panthers on the road. I think that they win and cover this one, 28-21. I think the Panthers will do some things and maybe keep it close, but I think that Cowboys' offensive power, man, Dax looked really good. I think they move the ball and end up pulling away late, win by touchdown. Next up, Patriots, 3.5 point road favorites, absurd, versus the New Orleans Saints, baby. Yes, sir, Ski. I know about them Saints, y'all, and I'm telling you, this is a letdown spot for the Patriots. Just like the Jags. We took them last week. They did what we needed them to do last week. Now it's time to let them go, man. One of my better upset spots. Now, it's a flat spot for the Patriots, and it's a road game in the Dome. and we don't need the Saints to win. We just need them to keep it within a field goal. I think they do that. I think the Patriots can win this game. I think they probably do win this game, maybe with a late field goal or something like that, But I think the Saints defense can keep us close in the dome, get some turnovers. Home team can make a break on a couple plays. Things go our way. We might win it, but I definitely think we can keep it within 3. I love the half mark on that. So give me the Saints at home with the points, 3.5. I think it's a close game, 24-23, 23-20. So give me the points in my back pocket, man. Next up, Titans on the road versus the Raiders. Raiders laying 3.5 points. The best thing I could tell you about this game that screams to me is the under. Both of these teams not that great on offense with pretty good defenses, like mediocre defenses. The under is a really, really good spot to be at. As far as picking this game, both teams struggling, but this is really just a get-right spot for the Raiders, man. And just like I said for the Saints, when you look at these teams, you got to pick the spots when they're going to win these games, and this is just a spot for the Raiders. Titans, obviously, they really didn't look that good against the Falcons. The Falcons gave that game away. The Falcons literally turned an interception, a Cam Ward interception, into a touchdown. That's crazy. I don't think that the Raiders are going to do that. I think Max Crosby has a good game against a really weak offensive line. And I think Ashton Genty can get things going. And I think Geno can get right. Give me the Raiders at home to win and cover 2016, 24-20. I think they have what it takes. And I think it's a get-right spot for those boys at home. Next up, man, we got the 49ers versus the Bucks. Bucks laying 2.5 points at home. The Niners have looked really good recently, obviously in Thursday night game beating the Rams, and the Bucks have won all of these games by a field goal or less on last-minute drives. QB injuries for San Francisco right now. Listen, it doesn't matter in my eyes, honestly, if it's Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, or Kenny Rourke, or whatever his name is. I think those three can all stand in the pocket behind a good offensive line and deliver balls over the middle of the field to these wide receivers who are getting, a good amount of separation and swinging the ball out to Christian McCaffrey. They are the number one passing offense, which I still think I think there's an error in the NFL statistics. I don't get how that is true, but it is true. On the other side of the ball, man, you got the Bucks, another good offense running the ball. Here's the thing that breaks this game for me, man. I think the Bucks are due for some regression, because they've had all of these late game winning drives. And on the other side of that regression, I just think that a lot of people are overlooking the 49ers, and they've had a really, really good last 2 to 3 weeks with a really weakened, injured team. And I think that's just a testament to how good they are and how good their coaching is. So I think on the road against the Bucks, they beat the Rams, and I think the Rams just had a much better offense than the Bucks. So give me the 49ers, man, to win this one. I think they have what it takes to win this one outright. Gotcha! Give me the Bucks, man. Yeah, give me the Bucks. You're 2.5. They're winning by 3. Come on, give me the Bucks. You already know what's happening. Late game field goal to win the game. Don't overcomplicate it. Buccaneers to win and cover, 27-24. Next game, man. Bengals on the road versus the Packers. Packers laying 14.5. Bengals, man, once again, biggest dog of the week. Didn't cover last week. Had a good push at the end of the game there. I don't want to be anywhere near them. I don't think that getting a new quarterback with less than a week practice is going to change anything over there. They got a lot of issues with the offensive line, a lot of issues on defense, and I think the Packers coming off of a bye week, it's just an at-home spot for them to absolutely destroy these guys. I know 14.5 is a big number. We don't like to lay it, but give it to me with the Packers. I don't want to be on the other side of the ball. I'll take the Packers 34-17. Hey, man, we're running through these pretty quick, gang. We're almost to the end here. Lions, Sunday night versus the Chiefs. Chiefs laying 2.5 points at home. Everything in this game, man, tells me to take the Lions. I think the Lions are, so free in this game. Yes, Lions plus money. Oh, are you crazy? They look so good. But you just don't want to bet against the Chiefs with Mahomes at home. They just don't lose these games. It's a bounce-back spot for these guys. And I just think they have what it takes to win a close one. 31-28. Something like that. I think it's just going to be some Mahomes magic that pulls this one out game. I think that's what it is. And then we got a doubleheader Monday night. Bills versus the Falcons. Bills 4.5-point road favorites. Man, this game right here, y'all. On paper, not far off offensively, other than just scoring points for Atlanta. Now, what that means is Atlanta's having a hard time in the red zone and finishing drives. However, on the other side of the ball, Atlanta has a much better defense. Atlanta coming off of a bye week. Man, give me the better defense with the home team and the points. I think the Falcons are my favorite upset of the week to beat the Bills on Monday night. And if you're going to give me more than 3 points, man, at home with a better defense, I'm taking it. So give me the Falcons, money line, 27-20 in a close game, but keep the points in your back pocket game. Never want to turn that down. Last but not least, Bears on the road versus the Commanders. Commanders laying 4.5. This is just a simple game, man. I'm taking the Commanders. Bears coming off a bye, but they're on the road. Everything points to the Commanders to me in this game. Jaden Daniels coming back. I have the Commanders winning 30-20. And let's move on to the best bets. The best bets of the week. All right. Friday night slate. We got a money line parlay. 5 legs. First leg, Mizzou at home against Alabama with the number 1 rushing leader for the SEC, Ahmed Hardy. Second leg, Oregon at home in the whiteout off of a bye week in a big game. Texas A&M at home against Florida, Kyle Field, big game, Saturday night. And then we finish it off, LSU, Death Valley, and Utah Utes, man. A 5-leg guaranteer. And then moving on to Sunday. This is an easy one for you guys. Broncos, minus 6.5, international game. They have the better run defense and the better rushing offense with J.K. Dobbins going up against the Jets. It's a really big mismatch in favor of the Broncos. International game on the road. Take advantage. Next up, Colts at home, 7.5-point favorites, going up against a really weak team. They've been absolutely rolling. Number 2 offense, number 4 defense. This is a top 5 team, probably going to make it deep in the playoffs in the AFC. And then we're going to finish it up with the Chargers. Minus 3.5 on the road on a bounce back spot against a really weak Miami team. Hasn't shown us very much offensively or defensively. And now I got you guys 2 underdogs of the week. The Falcons and the 49ers. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to switch out the 49ers because listen, I don't like the 49ers. I like the Lions. So we're reversing it. We're taking the Falcons and we're taking the Lions as our 2 dogs of the week. And our money line parlay for NFL is an easy one. Eagles. They've only lost 2 games in the last 21 games. They're not losing the third. The Broncos. The biggest mismatch of the week in an international game. The Colts. The number 1 team in the AFC currently. The Rams. And the Packers. Because nobody wants to be anywhere near the Bengals, man. There you have it, y'all. That's our picks for the week. I hope y'all enjoyed, man. Bet responsibly. And like the video, subscribe. We're coming back next week. All over again, man. What can I say?